Now, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, WMAL.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 o'clock. You're listening to the Morning Majority. This is Brian Wilson broadcasting to you today from the great state of Florida. This is primary day. Mary Catherine and Brian Neiman are back in the studio. And guys, I can bring back either some fresh shrimp or maybe some key lime pie. Which is your preference?
I want to see you get the shrimp on the airplane.
Yeah, I feel like key lime shrimp travels better.
I think I might do all right. I'll have to figure out a little cooler situation, but I could probably get you either one. Let me know what you like.
Tell them it's an organ, and it needs to come back as soon as possible.
Will the TSA let you get the shrimp on board?
I'm sure they've seen it before. I bet we can do it. We'll see if we can make that happen. Hey, listen, on the line right now is Congressman Cliff Stearns. He's a congressman from the 6th District of Florida, where there, of course, this is election day, so big day in Florida. But also, he's the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Oversight and Investigation Subcommittee, which means he's looking into Solyndra. We want to talk to him about both things. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Brian.
Well, let's talk about the great state of Florida right now. If you look at the polls, the conventional wisdom is that Mitt Romney is going to do very well in Florida today. Do you agree with the conventional wisdom?
Oh, I do. Yep. I think, obviously Gingrich won South Carolina, and he had a momentum. But between the cup and the lip, a lot happened. And I think at this point, I think a lot of the media and a lot of the press should understand that we have a population of 18 million people. That's bigger than the first 3 voting states combined, Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. So this is really a more, shall we say, representative state across different voting patterns. So I think in a way that if, and it appears to be, that Romney wins this with a sizable amount, that's good for him and gives him momentum moving into Nevada and the other states.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Do you have a dog in this fight? Have you lined up behind anybody?
I have not. I'm very, I served with Newt Gingrich for many years. I know him. I know his ups and downs. And also shall we say, Mr. Romney came into my congressional district in 2008. I got to know him and his family. So at this point, I have not gone with a public announcement. I notice that Senator Rubio hasn't, and either has a former Governor Jeb Bush.
Let me just ask you, though. You say you served with Newt Gingrich. The Romney campaign is making the case that a lot of people who serve with Newt Gingrich don't really like Newt Gingrich. How do you feel about Newt Gingrich, given the fact that you served side by side in the House with him?
I like Newt Gingrich. I think when you move into leadership, whether it's a speaker or president or any kind of leadership, there's going to lots of people not like what you're going to do. And obviously Newt did a lot of things, including take back the majority after 40 years. So I think Republicans have to respect the fact that this man had a goal when he came to Congress, is to help us take back the majority in the House, and he did it. And I think that's quite an accomplishment that very few men could really tout.
We're talking with Congressman Cliff Stearns, Republican from Florida, on the Morning Majority. All right, even though you're not going to endorse anybody, I want to know, where is your optimism level right now on a scale of 1 to 10 for Republicans actually winning the presidential election, regaining the Senate, and also holding on control of the House? Where are you today on January 31st?
It'd be a pretty high number. I think that what we see across this country with still a weak economy, and from my standpoint and the Oversight Committee, I see huge incompetence dealing with loan guarantees and grants that were given out. And the President is pushing an agenda with his clean energy. In fact, his State of the Union speech, which was really quite amazing to see him not talk about deficit reduction, but talk about new programs, including pushing clean energy.
Did we lose you? I'm sorry, I think we lost Congressman. So we'll try to reconnect with him on that.
Strange.
On the Solyndra, which Mary Catherine has been talking about since the day after the State of the Union, how mind-blowing it was to say he basically, we gave money to Solyndra, and we're going to continue to give money to these kinds of companies.
Right. It's a little bit of that shamelessness that just helps in being a politician. If you're willing to just say, this was a gigantic failure, and I'm going to fund it 4 more times, and then people will maybe eventually go, maybe that's maybe he knows something I don't know. No, he doesn't. He's just saying it.
It is amazing. It's also the fact that Florida is such a big state, and it is a bellwether state, and it will have an effect on other states down the road. I think a lot of people will look at it and say, well, if Florida went this way, you get a lot of momentum out of Florida, and it is a winner-take-all as well. So it's a big election. There's no doubt about it. Even if Newt Gingrich doesn't win, he says he's going to stay with it for to the convention. But it is a big primary today for sure.
One of the things they say about the state of Florida is it really is 5 distinct political regions within the state. So if you come in and you win in a state like Florida, the argument goes, then you would have a better chance on a national election. I want to just mention, though, again, that although the numbers look like Romney's going to do very well, one of the things that I keep seeing is it's a slight bit of momentum in Newt's direction in the last day or two. And remember, there were 605,000, I want to get that number back exactly. It's 605,000 people had already cast their ballots before today. And at some point during that time period, Newt was very much in the lead. So the end result may be a lot tighter than what we see here in these final polls that show Romney up by anywhere between 11 and 16%.
All right, Congressman Stearns is back with us. Congressman, I know that into the investigation into Solyndra, there's talk about a contempt of Congress charge. What is that all about?
Well, we've issued a subpoena to the White House, and that's pretty important, and yet the White House is slow-walking us and not providing us any of the information. In fact, we issued it the first week in November, and here we are moving to the first week of February, and we can't get the information. Yet our subpoena to the DOE, which is Department of Energy, and the OMB, shows that a lot of the inner circle knew about Solyndra, in fact, tried to manipulate and use their leverage to try and get Solyndra through, even though it appears to go bankrupt.
Congressman, if it looks like right now, like Mitt Romney may win Florida based largely on the strength of a lot of negative advertising. Florida's a big state. You got to spend a lot of money in order to do that. Is that something that's sustainable in a general election with Obama having as much money as he does?
Well, I think so. These super PACs have money that we don't even know about. I mean, there's one thing I want to tell the listeners is this Super Tuesday that's coming up March 6th, when 10 states go to the poll, because Florida having it primary early, we've incurred sanctions from the Republican Party, and we've had to forfeit almost half of our delegates to the National Convention, which will be held in Tampa in August. So I think that's a point that perhaps some of the listeners didn't realize.
But it is winner take all, though, even if it's just half.
That's true. And it gives Mr. Romney a huge amount of momentum. And as you pointed out, it's a large state, and we can expect this momentum to carry him further. It's
hard to imagine a Republican winning in this day and age a presidential election without winning the state of Florida. Are you confident that a Republican, whoever it will be, can win Florida in November?
I think so. I think it was a huge mistake for the Democrats to cut $500 billion out of Medicare. And if the economy is continuing to weaken, Florida really represents that weakness because our housing market is hugely depressed. Depending upon where you go, even as very shall we say popular places like Naples, the real estate market is depressed. And obviously in north central Florida, which I represent, there's many people that are they just can't pay their mortgages. So if that continues, I think people will want to change.
All right. Congressman Stearns, good to have you on. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Representative Cliff Stearns from Florida here with us on the Morning